Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press. Let's see if that happens.
Clinton's camp told Politico that Trump is encouraging Russia to commit espionage, calling it a national security issue. Donald Trump later tweeted, as you might imagine, if Russia or any other country or person has Hillary Clinton's 33,000 illegally deleted emails, perhaps they should share them with the FBI, unquote. Carl Cameron's in Toledo this afternoon, where Trump is set to hold that rally at, well, there's another one tonight. He's going to be in Toledo. This was a lot even for Donald Trump.
Right, and it's a pretty fair bet to the extent that anything is likely in the Trump campaign to hold over. He will talk about it in his Scranton town hall coming up in just a few minutes. And you're right, he usually runs late. And he'll talk about it tonight in Toledo. This has been quite an astonishing day. You played what he actually said. You played how he tried to sort of dial it down a little bit by saying provide it to the FBI. The campaign is utterly denying that he implied what people have inferred, notwithstanding what he actually said. And it's entirely likely that Trump's supporters, as they have been for the last year of his campaign, will likely shrug it all off and blame the media for making mountains out of molehills, for not understanding what he was trying to say, that his politically incorrect dialogue is often misunderstood or misconstrued, and that his intentions are good and this is all a bunch of nothing. In the past, presidential candidates who would make these types of remarks would have faced an absolute feeding frenzy. And this is the kind of thing that raises questions about temperament and capacity to lead and to understand the depth of the problems. And it's worth noting that as soon as Hillary Clinton accepts the nomination for the Democratic nomination, both of these candidates are going to start getting classified security briefings. So they will have at their fingertips and sometimes on the tip of their tongues things that the public isn't supposed to know about, not just us but our enemies, Shep.
Hey, he talked about policy a bit during this news conference.
Yes, it was a very long news conference and mostly focused on attacks on President Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, too. But he did. He was asked about the minimum wage and said that he is in favor of raising it to $10. And he sort of fluctuated on that a little bit, but suggested $10 was the right number. And said that it's time that that's done. People need to have help. And that states ultimately should have the opportunity to raise it higher, which he predicted that they would, and they already have. There are states with $15 minimum wages by legislative statute. So that puts him at odds with a lot of conservative Republicans who've been fighting minimum wage hikes for years, arguing that if you do raise the minimum wage, you're going to put people out of work because you're going to close down businesses that can't afford that type of staff and salary overhead. So it's an interesting insertion of policy in the middle of what was a very, very combative, feisty news conference, clearly intended to take some of the headlines away from the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia and insert more of the controversial ones about Bernie Sanders and the Sanders folks being ticked off and the just general disarray and chaos that people saw on the first day of the Democratic Convention. Shep?
Carl, thank you.